Hello, and welcome to our webinar, After Books and Early Readers. I'm Sarah Hunter, editor for Books for Youth and Graphic Novels at Booklist. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. Links to today's slide presentation and title list are included in the reminder email you received from Zoom last hour. To download them, please open that email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download the slides and titles by typing the URLs on the screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble accessing these materials, please contact us at webinar@booklist.online.com. The audience is in listen only, but we welcome questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a button for Q&A. If you have a question and need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions and will pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable captions on your screen, please look for and click the Captions icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. From there, we can select Show or Hide Captions whenever we videos. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of the captions at any time you press the captioning settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates the standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be removed. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Maureen McMullen, Marketing Specialist at FlutterBee, Amy Story, Marketing and Publicity Manager at Eerdmans Books for Young Readers, and Christina Carpino, Assistant Manager, and Erica DePasquale, Editor-in-Chief at HarperCollins. First, we'll hear from Maureen McMullen. Maureen is the marketing specialist at FlutterBee, a Minnesota-based group of publishers, Fairport, Bellwether, Jump, and Kaleidoscope. The goal is to make it as easy as possible for librarians and teachers to find the perfect book for their readers. In her free time, she enjoys a good horror novel, riding her bike, and dabbling in all kinds of DIY projects. Thanks for joining us, Maureen.
Thank you so much. Again, if you're not familiar with FlutterBee, we are a group of 4 publishers, Fairport, Bellwether, Jump, and Kaleidoscope. And I'll show you a few books from each of those today. So FlutterBee has both fiction and nonfiction, ranging from books for the earliest readers in preschool and kindergarten up to middle school. Next. So jumping into our new books for early readers, we're going to start with an imprint from Bellwether. Next, Blast Off beginners are at a kindergarten reading level, and they're aimed at readers in preschool through 2nd grade. So these books have very tightly leveled text and closely matching clear photos. Next, Let's Go on a Field Trip is a new series that introduces kids in early elementary to some of the field trips that they might take. Next. So this series features sight word lists, picture glossaries, and photo labels. So as you can see here with the elephant's trunk and the zookeeper are labeled. Next. These books also help kids prepare for some of the field trips they might take. So we'll talk about what to expect and what kind of things you should bring with you, like a packed lunch or sturdy walking shoes. Next. Shapes in Our World introduces shapes and gives readers plenty of real-world examples that will probably be pretty familiar to them. So on the next slide, we can see that they'll recognize things like a ball, a coin, or this delicious pie as a circle. Next. And then these everyday examples also help introduce early math and geometry concepts, as well as patterns. And again, these books feature picture glossaries, sight words, and photo labels. Next, moving on to Bearport. On the next slide, we'll see Bear Cub books, which are a 1st grade reading level. And we work with reading specialists to make sure the text is very tightly leveled, and we cover lots of fun topics that younger readers connect with. Next. So here's one we developed for America's 250th anniversary, U.S. symbols. Next. So we'll introduce readers to some of our country's most recognizable symbols, and we'll talk about what they mean, how they came to represent our country, and where we might see them today. Here you can see a really high-level introduction of the Statue of Liberty. Next. Back matter includes lots of fun facts about the symbols, like we see here about bald eagles. Benjamin Franklin did not think the bald eagle should be America's bird. He thought it should be the turkey. Another example is Lady Liberty's nose is about as tall as a fifth grader. And these also include photo glossaries of words that they will see throughout the book. Next. Tech Talk gives kids a simple explanation of technology that they might engage with or see around them. I want to highlight the AI title, which explains the concept at a really low level and gives examples of where kids might see it used around them. Next. There are lots of images like this that really help kids visualize and understand the science behind how technology works. So it's a nice way of kind of distilling complex scientific concepts for them to understand. Next. And back matter, again, includes photo glossaries and fun facts. Like here in the tablets over time section, we can see how touchscreens were invented in the 60s and then evolved into tablets that we see all around us, whether we're playing games or placing an order at a cafe. Next. In Where Did It Come From?, kids learn how common tools and technologies were invented to overcome challenges and make life easier. Next. This series is a great way to explore cause and effect. So in our book about zippers, we learned that shoes used to have buttons and laces, but they break all the time. So a man named Whitcomb Judson invented the zipper and started off with shoes, but now we see it all around us, including on tents, like you can see in this spread. Next. The back matter, again, includes a photo glossary and fun facts, as you can see here about the toilet, which is kind of silly, but it's pretty useful and fun. Next. So we have Jump, and on the next slide, we'll look at Tadpole Books. These are super colorful, friendly books for kids just learning to read. They're at a preschool through first grade reading level and feature predictable, repetitive text patterns and familiar high-frequency words. Next. Let's Look at Food Groups is a really introductory look at food groups. Next. And then each book gives examples of the different kinds of food groups and different characteristics. On this spread, you can see we have a words to know section to help build vocabulary and give some background information for kids starting to read the books. Next. There are some pretty appetizing photos of how different food groups show up in our meals. Next. And they also have a Let's Review section along with a table of contents and words to know section. Next. We have 8 new titles from our Machines on the Move series, and these ones feature community vehicles that kids probably see every day. Next. There are plenty of photo labels throughout these books and explanations of what each of these vehicles do. Next. And then we talk about the different parts of the vehicle, like the cab of this truck is labeled. Next. And we have our Let's Review section to support reading comprehension. Next. All right, we'll get into our chapter books from Kaleidoscope, which is our fiction publisher. Next. We're going to look at a few of our newest chapter books, and there's a pretty broad range of reading levels, so there should be something for most reading levels. Next. Bigfoot Adventures, this is a continued series, and we have 6 new titles. We consider this an early chapter book. It's a first through second grade reading level. Next. In Bigfoot Adventures, we follow our narrator, Bigfoot, behind the scenes at some of the coolest locations, from the Great Barrier Reef to a shoe factory. In this spread, it's from the cruise ship book. So Bigfoot has been traveling on a cruise ship and he deboards in Puerto Rico. And so this kind of explains or explores all of the different things he sees, um, some fun facts for background info. Next. And there's lots of beautiful photos and really fun sidebars in this series that make it really engaging for readers. Next. My Secret Mythical Friend at a 3rd through 4th grade reading level is about kids who stumble across mythical creatures and then kind of have to figure out what to do with their new friends. Next. So these chapter books do feature some illustrations of different creatures like this unicorn. There's also a dragon, a yeti, and a mermaid. So lots of high interest kind of fantasy appeal to readers. Next. These books focus on themes of honesty and loyalty, and each one of them is a standalone series. So kids can pick up any one of them. They don't need to read in any particular order. Next. Sadie Superstar Baker is an adorable new series. It's for 2nd through 3rd grade. So the main character, Sadie, comes from a family of bakers who she learns lots of different skills from, and she kind of uses those skills to get out of these silly little scrapes and hijinks. Next. And then there are these cool intro infographics to kind of give readers some background info on the characters. Next. And then there are black and white illustrations throughout the story and some kind of fun font features for emphasis. Next. The back matter in the series is really cool. It features a recipe that readers can actually make with adult supervision, of course. Next. Moonlight Magic Club. I'm really excited about this series. It's a new one for grades 3 through 4, and it's about a group of best friends who share a big secret. They have magical powers. Next. So this friend group are all witches, and they learn from an older witch how to use their powers. And they do a lot of kind of warm-hearted, empowering spells and try to help people in their community. Next. These are really sweet books, and they pair kind of the high-interest appeal of magic with themes of friendship, bravery, and perseverance. Next. We've got 4 new books from our series, Jordan Jones Sports, for grades 3 through 4. These are really fast-paced, relatable stories about young athletes kind of facing challenges on and off the field. And they tackle themes of perseverance, teamwork, sportsmanship, and personal growth. Next. So these chapter books feature black and white illustrations throughout. And there's also back matter that includes profiles on real athletes, discussion questions, and writing prompts. So these books have lots of fun ways for readers to engage with the story and kind of review some of the themes discussed. Next. And finally, we have our new series, Emily Knight, for middle graders. These chapter books are for grades 4 through 5. And the main character, Emily, comes from a family of famous warriors with special powers. Her backstory is pretty tough. Her mother passed away, and her dad ends up getting kind of caught up searching for her brother who goes missing. Next. And then Emily goes to a prestigious school for other warriors like her to train and kind of hone their skills. But she kind of has to face this challenge of dealing with her family's fame. It comes with a lot of pressure, and she has to figure out whether she can live up to that fame and if she really wants to. Next. Some cool info about the author of Emily Knight. She actually started writing the Emily Knight saga when she was 12 years old. The author's name is A. Bello. And she really intended Emily Knight to be kind of the inspirational, strong, young Black female protagonist that she saw missing from children's fiction. Next. All right. And that's going to be all for me. But if you have any questions about anything you saw or are interested in looking into our other titles, please give us an email at customercare@flutterbee.com. You can find us on social media at FlutterBeeHive. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Next, we'll hear from Amy Story. Amy is a marketing and publicity manager at Eerdmans Books for young readers, where she handles publicity, advertising, and promotion, conferences, social media, and more for the 30-year-old publisher based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Amy has worked in book publishing and communications for about that same time. Thankfully, kids' books keeps you young. Thanks for being here today, Amy.
Thank you. And thanks everybody for being here to hear about our spring list from Eerdmans. We've got some fun picture books to show you, so we can go ahead and get started with our first title. Next. Our first title is The Curious Life of Cecilia Payne, which is a picture book biography of the groundbreaking female astronomer who discovered what stars are made of. It's a story of curiosity, of community, of confidence. And you may recognize this subject from another very famous picture book that came out a few years ago. But you'll probably see that the reading experience of this is going to be very different, so they're very complementary. Next. As a child, Cecilia Payne loved learning to see nature's wonders, even things that other people called impossible. Next. While studying at Cambridge, she dreamed of becoming a great astronomer like the ones she read about in the library. But too many people, mostly men, thought women didn't belong among the stars or the atoms. Next slide. So Cecilia packed her bags for Harvard, where she could surround herself with women who also loved astronomy and physics. They were called the Harvard Computers, and they shared thousands of photographs of starlight with Cecilia. And she ultimately found a way to read patterns in those photos. And it led to the discovery that stars are actually made of hydrogen and helium, a finding that all the great astronomers of that time called impossible. Next slide. This book is from author Laura Allery, who's Toronto-based. You might recognize her from her new book, Who Needs the Dark, and her biography of Maria Mitchell, the astronomer who questioned everything. You might also recognize the illustration style of Yaz Imamura, who also illustrated the current Can You Imagine, as well as her award-winning book, Love in the Library. As with lots of Eerdmans books, there's going to be a ton of back matter in this book. There are timelines, there's an author's note, there's a bibliography, there's more recommended reading, etc. There's so much to dive into for young readers who are studying this. This book is perfect, obviously, for the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, which is coming up in a couple of weeks on February 11th, and for Women's History Month. And it's also just for any of those readers who just love beautifully illustrated biographies of groundbreaking women. Next. Our next book is The Consider the Lilies, and this is the new book in the Consider series from Jennifer Grant and #1 New York Times bestselling illustrator Juliana Swaney. It's inspired by Luke 12 and Matthew 6 in the Bible, and it's a gentle concept book that invites children to discover colors in nature, the beauty of flowers in bloom, along with God's love. Next slide. Next slide. Thank you. Throughout this book, readers are going to discover flowers and nature's miracles like the white Queen Anne's lace that you see in this spread. And the tiny flowers are tasty for bugs and bees. Next slide. Also, red poppies, along with hummingbirds, ladybugs, and more, blue bellflowers, purple coneflowers, etc. And these illustrations from Juliana Swaney are just so vibrant and inviting and comfy and cozy. Next slide. And the book simply ends with this final spread, which brings all the elements of the magic of nature together, along with the home on which they reside. And it just talks about a very gentle message of faith. Consider the lilies of the field. God made them special, and they live and grow just where they're supposed to be. You know what else? It's the same with you and me. This book is going to be perfect for your spring collections and possibly for some pre-K Easter read-alouds. Next book. This next book is very exciting for us at Eerdmans. It's Poems for Every Season, and it's a stunning, stunning combination of wordcraft and woodcuts. And it's where readers are going to meet the changing seasons with 13 poems, all in different poetic structures from award-winning Dutch author Bette Westera. We just added, just to note, a 3rd star for this book from PW. Next slide. Each season in this book is going to open with a haiku, and you'll see this gorgeous woodcut art here. It's followed by the season's months and their poems. The next slide. Throughout the book, readers are going to be introduced to 13 different diverse poem structures like rondelles, tankas, limericks, other poetry forms. And as you can see, this woodcut art from Henrietta Bourdon, she's a U.S. debut artist, is going to showcase just the wonder and the splendor of nature. Next slide. Again, there's back matter, lots of back matter that's going to offer details about these poems and their structures. You might recognize Bette Westera's name. She was the Batchelder Honor winner for our book Later When I'm Big. And this book is also translated from the Dutch by poetry expert David Colmer. This at NCTE this past fall was the book for our educators. It was a classroom and library must for Poetry Month and every month. And if you go online, there is a downloadable Poetry Month poster. Next slide. This next book is a soft, evocative picture book about mindfulness, compassion, and self-expression. It was originally published in Taiwan and is translated from Chinese. Next slide. The book begins during a very heavy rainy season. Little monk who has lived in the monastery since he was a baby is feeling a bit anxious. Next slide. Next slide. An old monk invites little monk to practice calligraphy. Let's write the character for rain, he says. And with each new brushstroke, little monk finds himself meditating. His restless, ancient heart grows quiet. And for the next 20 years, as little monk becomes big monk, he sits down with his brush every day, meditating, writing the character for rain. He lives this quiet, very unassuming life until one day somebody comes to the temple asking for help. Their city has no water. Next slide. So Big Monk packs his things and he's hoping to do his part. But what can a pile of calligraphy sheets do? You'd be surprised what can help this struggling community. Kirkus called this book tender proof that humility and tenacity can inspire miracles. And some of you may recognize the name of Eleanor Dugan, who is a Taiwan native and known as the 3rd cultural librarian. We sent this book with her recently, and she said that this book stayed with her very long after the final page. Something important I want to note for you all, this is going to be a horizontally bound book, giving you a much different reading experience than a lot of young readers are used to. It's kind of like the Chinese ink paintings and calligraphy that are hung on scrolls, so it's going to be horizontal. Pretty cool. Next slide. Our next book is a little different in tone. It's for that little reader who can't stay still, who can't quit touching, whose heart, therefore, is big as the sun. I don't know if you know that kid, but I do, because I have one. Next slide. Little Arthur adores his cat, Zepho, but Zepho, not so much. Arthur would love to brush Zepho's fur, turn him into Super Cat, jump in the clouds, but all Zepho wants is some space. Slide. Next slide. Thank you. So one day, Arthur decides he's going to give Zepho a big hug, and ow! Arthur cries, Zepho runs away, and the days and nights pass with sadness for both the cat and its human. Maybe Arthur is going to need a little bit more of a connection and a different way to bond with his cat after all. Next slide. This is a warm, lighthearted SEL story about friendships, boundaries, self-control, self-awareness. Like Arthur, young readers are going to discover just how love can sometimes mean giving freedom instead of taking control. It's a debut from France, and it's translated from the French by Sarah Artesani, and this would be such a fun SEL storytime pick. It's just totally charming. Next slide. Our next book is a different, timely, browsable nonfiction title that's going to be perfect for Earth Day and any climate literacy collections that you might have. Also good for Dark Sky Week, which is coming up at the end of April. Next slide. When streetlights outshine the stars, what does that mean for the plants and the animals and us? Who Hit the Stars, a book from Italy, is going to investigate artificial light, light pollution, and its unexpected impact on our planet. Next slide. Readers are going to learn how artificial light develops through history, from fire to LEDs, how it interrupts bird migration patterns, how streetlights gather insects and their predators, how turtles struggle to hatch without darkness, how plant growth changes in artificial light, and how humans can fight and young readers can stop it from harming future nature. It's got dynamic illustrations and approachable yet scientifically sound text that's going to make this a very memorable way to explore conservation, biodiversity, and the ever-growing problem of light pollution. There's not a lot out here on this topic, and it's just a very fun, engaging, browsable nonfiction that goes along with a lot of the browsable nonfiction that Eerdmans has become known for. It's translated from the Italian by a Batchelder Award-winning translator named Silvia Notini, and there is back matter. And I should also mention that fittingly, Dark Sky International is pretty excited about this book. So are we. Next book. The next picture book, next slide, sorry. The next picture book is for your myths and fables collections. It's an explanatory myth from a pre-Columbian culture, retold by a Peruvian poet and an award-winning illustrator whose work you might recognize. Next slide. One day, when the world was new and no one built houses, next slide, the sun saw himself reflected in the waters of Lake Titicaca. He came closer to his own shining face, and a flame fell into the lake, giving birth to a young man and young woman. The sun gave his son and daughter an important task to found the very first city, a place where they could teach humans better ways of living. The children of the sun set out to find the perfect spot, and the people of Earth followed them. Next slide. Michaela Sharif and New York Times New York Public Library Best Illustrated Children's Book winner Juan Palomino, who you might remember from The Young Teacher and the Great Serpent, invite readers to discover and ponder how this origin myth might relate to other stories about cities and communities and how they spawned. It's translated from Spanish by another name you might recognize, Lawrence Schimmel, and it's part of our Stories from Latin America series. Next slide. This book, this picture book, is actually one of the favorites on my list. Next slide. When her mother leaves the den, little Fox expects to spend the next hours by herself, but then she hears a knock on the door. She is a visitor. Next slide. At first, little Fox is scared. Silence is so big and strange. But then they share a snack, and silence helps her hear her own heartbeat, even her own thoughts. Maybe time spent with silence isn't so bad after all. Maybe silence can be her friend. Next slide. This is a sweet, gentle, kind, allegorical story that was inspired by the first time the author actually stayed home as a child. It was also inspired by her experiences working at home during COVID. It's a great read aloud, celebrating the comfort of silence. And it's perfect for that reader that may hate quiet time, may have a little separation anxiety, and just has trouble being alone. Has wonderful, colorful, whimsical illustrations, and it's translated from Catalan language by Lawrence Schimmel. Next slide. And our final book today is a beautiful picture book biography of the renowned cellist Pablo Casals, a Spanish legend who's known almost as much for his music as he is by his activism and artistic protest against authoritarianism. Next slide. One day in Catalonia, Spain, 11-year-old Paul Casals was captivated by the cello, which set him on a path toward international fame and the extraordinary courage as an advocate for social justice. Next slide. Playing the cello would take Paul all over the world, performing in palaces, concert halls, even the White House. People called him Pablo Casals now, and he was famous. But when the events of the Spanish Civil War and World War II left his homeland ruled by dictator Francisco Franco, Pablo made a dramatic decision. He would silence his music until Spain was free. Next slide. This is the first major picture book biography of Pablo Casals, who is coincidentally the childhood hero of cellist Yo-Yo Ma. It's illustrated in vibrant color, as you can see, by an artist who's actually from Catalonia, and her name is Mariana Cabrasa. Of course, there's back matter, which includes historical notes, a timeline, a bibliography, and links to Casals' performances and interviews, which can really help bring the reading experience to life for young readers. It's a beautiful picture book biography. It's timely. So many themes young readers are seeing in the news today, and it's just important. And we are very proud to be its publisher coming out at the end of April. This is our last book, so I just want to thank you for your time. And if you have any questions about Eerdmans or the books that are on this list, please reach out to me on email. You see my email here, astory@eerdmans.com. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Amy. Finally, we'll hear from Christina Carpino and Erica DiPasquale. Christina spent time as an award-winning early childhood educator, elementary school teacher, and finally a youth services librarian before joining the school and library marketing team at HarperCollins. She has a passion for fostering a love of reading in children of all ages through finding the perfect book for each child. Erica has worked at HarperCollins since 2017, first as a member of the Adult Foreign Rights team and now as an editor at Harper Children's. She manages the I Can Read program, as well as working on picture books and the select middle grade and YA. She works on the Pete the Cat, Frog and Toad, and Girl Scout programs, among others. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm going to have Erica start us off because she's going to talk about a really exciting new program that we have called I Can Read Phonics.
Thank you, Christina. It is my pleasure to introduce I Can Read Phonics, our new line of leveled readers for kids to learn and practice the phonics concepts necessary to read successfully. We created this program in response to the growing demand for phonics products. While we and many trade publishers already have phonics boxes, I Can Read Phonics will be one of the only leveled phonics reader series in the trade market. Next slide, please. We collaborated with phonics expert Wiley Blevins, author of the top-selling Phonics from A to Z and other resources for educators, to design this program using the latest science of reading. Each book in the I Can Read Phonics series is 32 pages and reads similarly to my first I Can Reads. Each of the 3 levels cover specific phonics concepts. Phonics 1 teaches short vowel sounds, consonant blends, S ending patterns, and are always in the present tense. Phonics 2 introduces long vowel sounds, consonant digraphs, ED ending patterns, and can be in the present or past tense. And Phonics 3 features complex vowel sounds and other ending patterns. Blevins says that our phonics levels correspond well with educational products that chunk by vowel type. Next slide, please. Each book is vetted by a phonics expert who is credited in the parent letter on the first page of the book, as you can see here on the screen. Next slide. And accessible front matter explains to parents how to teach new readers the phonics concepts necessary to read each word in the story. 80% or more of each story's words are decodable, meaning the words can be sounded out using the phonics concepts introduced in that level or the earlier levels, which Blevins is advised is the minimum that schools require. Next slide. The other 20% or less of words are high-frequency words such as pronouns, the, that, etc., and about 2 to 4 story words that are necessary for engaging and interesting stories. Nearly all words are one syllable for easy decoding. Starting in summer 26, we plan to publish 2 original I Can Read Phonics books a season, starring best-selling characters including Pete the Cat, Little Critter, Biscuit, Pinkalicious, Clark the Shark, Danny and the Dinosaur, and Pig in a Wig, with more to come. The next 3 slides, please. You can just cycle through them. We're so excited for this opportunity for kids to learn to read with the support of their favorite characters that they already know and love. First up are Pete the Cat and the Family Tree and Little Critter Can I Do It, which hit the shelves this May and June respectively. In Little Critter Can I Do It, readers will practice reading short vowel sounds and consonant blends while enjoying a story about friends who support one another in pursuit of their goals, even after failure. And in Pete the Cat and the Family Tree, readers will learn more about Pete the Cat's family in a story full of long vowel sounds and consonant digraphs. I'm happy to answer any questions in the Q&A box, and thank you so much. I'll hand it back to Christina.
Thank you. I've been so excited about this because I'm a former kindergarten and first grade teacher, and I'm just so excited for my kindergarten and first grade teacher friends to have new phonics books with their favorite characters to continue that teaching. I'm going to talk about some more I Can Reads in addition to the I Can Read Phonics. We also have I Can Read Comics. These are some of our upcoming titles. Cool Buds is from Caldecott honor artist Barbara Lehman, and it features 4 friends living in the Arctic. In this level 3 reader, Tip finds a treasure map, and his friends set out on an adventure to locate where X marks the spot. Will they find gold, jewels, a crown? Independent readers will love following along with the adventures in this more complex graphic novel story. Stick Dog meets Poo Poo, who's the poodle. Tom Watson's popular Stick Dog series is coming to I Can Read Comics. With his signature humor, readers will laugh along as Stick Dog and his new friend Poo Poo hang around the park looking for food. This level 3 comic is perfect for reluctant readers, and once they have more confidence, it serves as a great stepping stone into the highly illustrated novel series. And Fish Do Not Have Feet is a level 1 comic from beloved author-illustrator Tim Miller, writing as T.J. Miller. An excitable fish wants to play around with his newly discovered feet, much to the chagrin of his curmudgeonly octopus friend. This book features subtle SEL hooks about relationship skills and social awareness, and introduces readers to reading comics and graphic novels for the first time. Next slide. And some of our other favorite upcoming I Can Reads. We have Multi-Geisel Award winner Corey R. Tabor, who's back with the next book in his beloved Fox series. Where is Fox going? But more importantly, how is he getting there? A train, a bus, a surfboard, a waterfall? Fox's travel methods may be a bit unusual, but we would expect nothing less from our terrific trickster friend. The repetitive and carefully chosen text in this My First I Can Read is the perfect choice for emerging readers and their caregivers. And we have the first I Can Read in our partnership with the Girl Scouts, featuring best friends who live on Daisy Lane and participate in Daisy Girl Scouts. Together, they decide to take action to make their neighborhood better by raising money to install a new recycling bin at the playground. This book will appeal to all readers, not just those in Girl Scouts, and includes instructions for making jewelry from recycled materials. And finally, on this slide, we have Cranky versus the Cat. Cranky debuted recently to much love from readers and gatekeepers alike. From the fabulous duo of Fuktron and Pete Oswald, who you might know from the Food Group series, comes a level 2 reader about a cat causing mayhem at the new playground at Sandbox Hills. And making Cranky, well, cranky. For kids who have loved being read the Cranky books, this is a great one to get them reading on their own. Next slide, please. And we have more from Corey R. Tabor. Moving out of the I Can Reads and into our transitional readers and chapter books, we have Wally Mammoth. This is a new series to help bridge the gap between I Can Read titles and chapter books. Next slide. Wally Mammoth is a fun series featuring brightly colored illustrations from Dalton Webb and Tabor's signature witty humor. You can see the reading level from this spread, complete with text bubbles to make this comic-inspired book appealing to new readers. Next slide. Jojo McCoons. This is the 5th book in the acclaimed chapter book series from Don Quigley, featuring a spunky Ojibwe girl. She's ready to be brave at her very first sleepover. That is, until there are scary puppets and creepy dolls hiding around every corner. For the following ones I'm going to be talking about, these are series that are already out. So I'm going to show you the newest book in the series, and then I have the first book in the series on the slide as well. I know how readers often find something they love and they just want to binge all the way through it. So I wanted to be sure to include that first book on there as well. And next slide, we'll take a look at a spread here. Thank you. Full of spooky, fun, and after-school mischief, this book shows readers how to find courage through the people they love. This series is highly illustrated by Tara Audibert, and the page count is perfect for those readers looking for something a little bit longer but not ready for full novels. Next slide, please. JJ and Chris Grabenstein are bringing us the 5th book in the fifth installment in this hilarious, highly illustrated chapter book series featuring storyteller Stinky the Skunk. Next slide. This stuffed skunk has come to life and taken up residence in the school library, where he loves telling students his own version of their favorite fairy tales. Filled with sweaty feet, sabotage, and a lot of bad apples, Cinder Smella will leave readers laughing out loud. Next slide. Drew Daywall is the author of The Day the Crayons Quit, and he has a new illustrated series for young middle grade readers. These books are a little bit of a step up from those ones we just talked about, but still come in under 200 pages and feature illustrations on almost every page. Next slide. In the second book in the series, Meow is kidnapped by enemy spies. But no worries, the brilliant cat successfully negotiates his release in exchange for all of his owner's research. but the genius feline didn't account for Sam thwarting his attempts at every turn. Sam the Pug's adventures will appeal to reluctant and voracious readers alike and is also a really great whole class read aloud. Next slide. Matt Phelan's Plum series has been around for a couple of years now, but I wanted to make sure it's still on your radar. This is the final book in the series, which School Library Journal calls a must-have conclusion. Each book features short chapters and black and white illustrations following the adventures of Plum the peacock and his fellow animals at the Athensville Zoo. Next slide. The next author should be very familiar to you. Two-time Newbery winner Erin Entrada Kelly has two great connected series for transitional readers. The first features Marisol Rainey, an 8-year-old girl navigating friendship, finding courage, and coping with her father living far away while working on an oil rig. Next slide. The second series, which has a new book coming in 2026, follows Felix Powell, one of Marisol's classmates, whose magic blanket turns him into different animals. Both series are highly illustrated by Erin herself and feature short, high-interest chapters to help new readers build confidence. Next slide. Oh, sorry, one of our covers is missing there, but Cat and Cat Adventures is my niece's favorite series right now. This is a graphic novel series perfect for this early reading level of 1st through 3rd grade. My niece is totally obsessed. Cat and Cat features Squash and Ginny, two cats in a fantasy world. The one that's coming up is going to be called The Lair of the Owl King, where they must use their wits and a few snacks to rescue the orb of the future. If not, the spirit realm, the human world, and the future of snacking all hang in the balance. Next slide. This series is very bingeable, though you may get some antsy readers begging you for the next book when they finish the first. There's a few cliffhangers throughout. These short graphic novels are full of adorable illustrations and lots of world-building adventure to sate your curious and imaginative young readers. Next slide. And then I'm going to finish up with Teen Unicorn and Woolly. We'll end on a silly note. This is the 4th and final installment in the Teen Unicorn and Woolly series. When a bottle containing a mysterious map washes ashore, Team Unicorn is on the case. Next slide. These books are full of mystery and whimsical humor and have a wide appeal to a variety of readers. And as you can see, they have a very comic book style to them with color illustrations on every page. Next slide. Thank you so much for listening to me speak. We have our Edelweiss collections, of course, as well as NetGalley, so feel free to go on there and request any advanced copies. If you have any questions after this, you can follow up with me, Christina.Carpino@HarperCollins.com, and you can find us online at HarperStacks.com and on X, Facebook, and Blue Sky at HarperStacks. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Christina and Erica, and a big thank you to all of today's presenters. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's slide presentation, title list, certificate of completion, and video recording. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones like those you see here. You can also find out about the latest webinars on our social channels. Visit us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. And one more huge thank you to our panelists and to our sponsors, FlutterBee, Eerdmans Books for Young Readers, and HarperCollins Children's Books. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.